Do you notice a difference when
Oh, yeah, it is night and day.
Yeah.
I'm not asking them to repeat themselves all the time. The television is at a reasonable level. And I've even noticed the difference in the Rotary meetings
Okay.
when I'm in attendance. Prior to wearing the hearing aids, I would miss things. 'Cause, we can be a loud bunch, right?
Yeah.
We like each other's company. We're happy to be there. Everyone is excited about particular issues. Um, so yeah, I would miss conversations, or if I wasn't sitting close enough to a guest speaker, I would miss something that they would say, and I would have questions, but then I was embarrassed in case someone else had asked that question already, and I didn't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
So I find I participate in the meetings a lot more, and I'm more engaged in the meetings because I'm hearing.
Because you're hearing. Yeah.
I'm hearing what people are saying.
Yeah. Welcome back to Hear Me Out with Belinda. Hearing aids are not for the old. They are for the bold. Treat your hearing loss and boost your confidence, your connections, and your quality of life. Today, I'm in studio with someone who was bold, my friend and fellow Rotarian, Pamela. Welcome to the studio, Pamela.
Thanks, Belinda.
So I think if I remember the first time you and I had a real conversation, I was trying to think about that. It was actually at the Rotary holiday party last year.
Yeah, about a year ago. I was thinking back, because you asked me to be on your show, and it's like, oh, I know I have to go back to that time. But I didn't know you very well at all at the time, other than I knew that you were a Rotarian. I knew that you were crazy brave because you were the president-elect. and right, so you were just a fellow Rotarian at the time, but I certainly had seen you participate in the meetings, and just from your behavior, from your actions, it gave me trust. It gave me trust in you. Just a little backtrack to my hearing loss. It's probably started about in my late 50s. And I really thought it was, it was a normal part of the aging process. And so, I just would accommodate. I would have the TV up perhaps a little too loud, and especially if I was by myself. And my husband would come home and he'd go, whoa, that's really loud. I can hear it at the front door. And, I just kind of laughed it off. I have a couple of stepchildren. And my stepdaughter, who's very dear to me, she was the hardest one for me. Her voice is at such a register that for a couple of years there, I was always asking her to repeat herself. And bless her heart, Katie, she would always accommodate. She's a teacher.
Okay.
And probably late last year, she came to me and she said, that's going to get worse. And it was such a splash of water in the face to me. This will sound so daft, and I actually am a rather smart person, but I didn't know that is what would happen. I thought that the bit of hearing loss that I had was what, like I said, it would stay at that level for the rest of my life. And when she said that to me, as I said, right, it was a big wake-up call.
Yeah.
That, I had promised my husband that I'd wait until I turned 60 before, no, actually, I had told him, because he had been after me as well, to get my ears tested. And I said, no, wait until I'm 60. But when Katie said that to me, it will get worse. I thought I have to do something. And so we were at our Rotary Christmas meeting. I still remember, right? I waited for that moment where I saw you outside of the meeting room,
Yeah.
and I went up to you, and believe it or not, it was a very brave thing for me to do, because for the most part, I don't feel old, but the idea of starting to lose your hearing, it made me feel really old. But I also knew I had to do something. So thank you for being so warm and approachable. And I still remember, right? I just kind of said, "Hi, I'm Pamela."
Yeah. I remember that day.
And I think I need to come see you in the new year. And you very, quietly handed me your business card and gave me a hug.
Yeah.
And you said you'd love to see me.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, from that meeting, we have then since connected, not just in the clinic, but with wine. And I would say, becoming friends, right?
I
With that.
count you as a dear friend now.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes,
I've been really enjoying this journey that we've been on and that you've helped me with.
yeah, because it has been a road of connection, right? And you've helped me as well, right? Sometimes, like those meetings, like before a Rotary meeting or busy, I've had a crazy day, and you this like calm within my storm that's going on in my head, right? And I can just sit down and breathe and be. It's all okay. These are Rotarians, right? These are friendly people. They're here to support you, right?
Support you, not to judge you.
Exactly, yeah. And so I think going back to your journey, so it is a brave, right? And I think that's
It
part
is.
of it.
It is brave. Yep.
It is brave to
And
take that step and to acknowledge. And I think part of doing the podcast, part of focusing on the education of treating your hearing loss is that, right? There's this whole stigmatism still attached to it.
Yeah.
Of that it is for the old, but going back to, the stats, between the ages of 19 and 79, 60% of Canadians have a hearing health concern, and that can be hearing loss, or tinnitus, or a combination of
Wow,
both, right? So
60%. That's a really high
it's a
number.
high number, right? And so there's a lot of people like yourself out there that are living with this untreated hearing loss, and it is impacting relationships. Now, you said, your stepdaughter was very gracious, right? And your family was very kind. But I do meet people where their relationships have broken down, because of it, right? Because it's caused conflict within, and then they're still hesitant to come in and have the hearing loss, treated. So I find that very sad, so that's why I go back to, being on the show today, telling your story. I really appreciate it. And, maybe you get to, even if you just get to encourage one person, to take that bold step of going in and having the hearing, tested at least to find out the results, then you made a difference, right, in somebody's life.
I would hope that happens. I mean, we all have different ideas of what aging looks like, and I can even handle the gray hair. But it did take some convincing
To come in. So then,
to admit to hearing loss.
yeah,
I don't know why we take it so personal, right? As a personal failure.
yeah,
But yeah, some people, me,
yeah.
can view it like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your experience then. We reached out, we connected, and then you finally booked your appointment and came in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I should say that I said I'd come see you in January, but I did drag my feet a little bit. I mean, there was the birth of a grandson, so yeah, but I can't blame Theodore for all of the feet dragging. I finally made it, right, before the first quarter
Yeah.
into your studio, and I was terrified. Like that initial hearing aid where you're testing
Yeah.
and you're sitting in the booth and you're listening so hard. I can't recall the last time I listened so fiercely, because even though you have some hearing loss, you want to be told, oh, it's only mild hearing loss. It's not dramatic hearing loss. And so I do. I remember that afternoon, and I was just, listening so hard. And so again, if I can help anyone with that, was like, try to relax. Don't make up sounds. don't hit everything. Say, I heard that, I heard that, I heard that, because it's not a true test.
Right.
So we got through that. I will say it was quite an eye-opening experience for me as well. I thought there was one hearing aid, like one model. That's it. That's all. So when you showed me all these different models that I could try, and I didn't understand that either. That I wasn't committed to one model. That I actually had time to figure out how to live with these things.
Yeah.
And I feel like Goldilocks, because I tried the first model that you thought might suit me, and I wore them for almost 2 months, and I wouldn't have believed that there was such difference in the different models. I'll just say this: the first one I tried did not sit well with me. What's the term you used? Did you call it mechanical?
Yeah, like a bit tinny, or the mechanical sound. Yes.
And that one for sure, I can remember, I'd scratch my head and it would sound like tinfoil crumpling. And I thought, oh, no, don't like that. And I didn't know that you were going to be true to your word and say, oh yeah, come on, we'll try a different one. So I was a little hesitant to call you, but I did. And then I got the, oh yeah, come on in. Let's try a different one. And we did. So then we tried number 2. And again, I wore that for almost 2 months. And they're just, yes, maybe I was dragging my feet a little bit about this whole must-wear hearing aid concept.
Yeah.
But there wasn't something quite right about number 2 model. And again, felt a little reluctant to tell you. In fact, I think you were the one who prodded me, and because you asked the question, do you love them? And I said no. And so you was like, okay. And this is when I was really starting to trust you, and you said, okay, let's get model number 3 on board. And just like Goldilocks, number 3 was my ticket.
Yeah. And I think for anybody out there listening, it is such a unique journey. Like, I can read the technology and I can try to match as best as I possibly can by listening to, what your lifestyle needs are, to your hearing loss, to knowing that technology. But sometimes I always go back to, it's just not a good fit for the person's auditory system. And, if you're not having success, if you're not loving it, then let's try something else, right? Because there are 7 premium brands of hearing aids. And, let's try all 7 if we really have to, But, obviously I would have my favorites, and I'm not going to get into the big, technology and stuff of all of them, because you have I would say the top 3 out of them. And generally, one of them is a really good fit for anybody with a hearing loss. So I'm really glad. And I think going back to, we didn't really know each other, right? We trusted each other from being Rotarians, but the journey showed you that, yes, because it is hard. Even, people that don't know me, and I'm like, come back, don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. Like, it's not a personal attack if you don't like the product. There are options, because you have to wear it, right? You have to be, going back to my earlier statement, you have to be confident. It's there to boost your confidence and your connections and your quality of life, right? So if it's not doing that, then, try something else, right? Yeah.
I was really grateful that your business is in the town that I live in. I didn't know that it was going to be such a journey, right? Discovering the different models. And if I'd had to go back and forth into Calgary all the time, I don't know if I would have been as diligent.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate everything, right? I appreciate your business style. I appreciate the location. It made my journey easier.
That's good. And now when you're with your stepdaughter and your husband and stuff, do you notice a difference?
It is night and day.
Yeah.
I'm not asking them to repeat themselves all the time. The television is at a reasonable level. And I've even noticed the difference in the Rotary meetings
Okay.
when I'm in attendance. Prior to wearing the hearing aids, I would miss things. 'Cause, we can be a loud bunch, right? Right?
Yeah.
We like each other's company. We're happy to be there. Everyone is excited about particular issues. Um, so yeah, I would miss conversations, or if I wasn't sitting close enough to a guest speaker, I would miss something that they would say, and I would have questions, but then I was embarrassed in case someone else had asked that question already, and I didn't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
So I find I participate in the meetings a lot more, and I'm more engaged in the meetings because I'm hearing.
Because you're hearing. Yeah.
I'm hearing what people are saying.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing your
mhm.
story with us. Let's switch gears a bit because I know that before your retirement, I think you were the executive director of the food bank.
The Okotoks Food Bank. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
was. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I think Christmas time is a really busy time at the food bank if you go back to.
It is. It is a month of sheer insanity, great joy, but it is a very busy month. And it is really the biggest month of the year to fundraise for the food bank. The food bank, most food banks, certainly in Canada, they have this feast and famine cycle where the donations start up about September. That's when the big community food drives take place. And of course, right, with the holidays looming, people are thinking about Christmas coming,
Mhm.
and people are just more generous, right,
Oh, God.
towards the Christmas period.
Yeah.
So donations will begin in September and then really ramp up into December. And that basically has to support the food bank over the next year. And it's pretty good about lasting, I would say, from January to July. And then you've got a couple of lean months, right? July, August are really lean. Yeah, your warehouse shelves are getting quite bare. So it is that feast
Mhm.
famine, and you work really hard in the month of December to try and get as many food and monetary donations as you can, just knowing that it does have to tide you over for
Yeah.
the next year.
So I've always wanted to ask because I had a very good friend of mine who ended up, I think it was a food bank, but they checked her like social services. I don't know if I'm saying that right, her status to make sure that she'd qualify for a food hamper. Is that the same in Okotoks?
Um, in Okotoks, you have to give proof of your address,
Okay.
right? There are so many food banks, especially in our area.
Yeah.
There is a food bank in Diamond Valley. There are a couple of food resources in High River, and of course, Calgary, the Big Daddy, right? A huge, wonderfully run food bank.
Yeah.
And so in Okotoks, they just wanted to make sure that they were servicing the people in their community.
Okay.
So you do have to give proof of address that you live in Okotoks to be a recipient of the
Yeah.
food hamper program.
But you don't have to say proof of income or proof of need or anything.
No.
You can show up if you're having a rough month or something has happened. You can go into the food bank and ask for help.
The Okotoks Food Bank, it doesn't have a case management system in
Okay.
place, meaning there aren't social workers on staff. So the Okotoks Food Bank is truly an emergency food source.
Okay.
Unlike the Calgary Food Bank, where there are services where they try to work with your family income, um, provide education on how to do a monthly budget. If your family needs other resources, they can connect you to those resources just to try and help you get back onto your feet so that you don't have to rely on a food bank, that you can rely on your own resources in future.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, as far as I know, I mean, I haven't worked there for 2 years, but the Okotoks Food Bank is still just an emergency source.
Okay.
So the idea is if you need food, you show up and
up.
you get help.
And what about if you're under the age of 18? Would you still get help? I know that I've
You would,
recently, discovered some teenagers, right, that are sleeping in
that's
their cars and stuff. So,
that became a trend that we noticed during and definitely after COVID.
okay.
Yeah. And here in Okotoks, not a lot of resources for teenagers.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have homeless shelters, don't even really have like a youth center
Yeah.
where they could get that kind of support. So, yeah, we really noticed an uptick
Yeah.
in the under 18s,
There.
right, coming to our door.
It's really sad. I think the conversation's almost becoming full circle because I think our Rotary Club is quite driven by, partnering with the Foothills Community Coalition and doing that.
Yeah.
That youth hub, right?
Yeah, I was there for that presentation, and it was very exciting.
It is exciting. And I think this immediate past president, Jeff, who's been with the Rotary Club for many years now, we were talking about these legacy projects, and he was speaking about the playground that we did. And
the inclusive playground. It's one of the things I'm most proud of, right, coming out of Rotary, the inclusive playground.
Yeah. And he says when they first started talking about it, he believes it was 2012. But I think completion was only, I want to say it was last year.
Yeah.
So it was a full 12 years, right, of when Rotarians started talking about the inclusive playground, how to do it, getting grants, getting funding. And so I think, working on something like the Youth Hub, there is an immediate need, obviously, but there isn't immediate help. So we're doing what we can, to get there, I guess. So it is, and that's part of why we'll have the Robbie Burns, I guess, next year as well, in partnership with Rowan House, to raise funds to service the community and those in need. Yeah. This is lovely. Thank you. I wasn't, as I said before, I wasn't sure where the conversation was going to go today because we did chat a little bit about obviously wanting to share your journey. And I really do appreciate you sharing your better hearing journey with the community. And hopefully it inspires or encourages, somebody else just to take that next step to get the hearing tested.
I hope so too. And if I may, I mean, it would be a fib if I said I was this early adopter. Even after Goldilocks found her, right, number 3, that suit her to a T. It took me a while to incorporate them into my daily routine. And I can't say that it was a willing thing I did. It was a grudging thing I did until a couple of months ago where I sort of lost one. And I mean, I'm grateful that you were able to replace it as quick as you did, but it still took 10 days. And so there was a 10-day period where I went back to the old me. And even though, initially where I thought it was, just a little bit of hearing loss, I really noticed the difference after wearing the hearing aids for 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden having nothing for 10 days. And I did not like the feeling. I felt quite muffled from the world. I mean, I could still hear, but I wasn't hearing the finer points, right? I wasn't hearing the birdsong like I used to. The first time I put hearing aids in and I drove away from your office, so in March, when I put on the turn signal in my car, I heard it for the first time. I didn't know what the tick, 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 tick was initially. And it's like, oh my God, that's what that sounds like. And that's been going on for years, and I had never heard it. And then so that 10 days without my hearing aids, I didn't hear the tick, tick, tick of the turn signal. And it's like, it's funny the things you miss. And it's like, I used to be able to hear that. I can't hear that now. I have never been so grateful to put these things back in after you were able to get me the replacement. And you know that funny thing, you don't miss it until it's gone?
Exactly. Oh.
And to have my hearing restored, things just feel right again.
You're a believer. No,
I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I am a believer. I know that I need to wear them every day.
Yeah. You know, I've been doing this. I've been qualified for 14 years and been in the industry for 17. And I think I can think of 3 people during my career where they've actually taken their vehicle into the shop the next day after getting their hearing aids because they panicked, right? Because they heard something that wasn't there before. And it's that signal indicator light, right? So it's one of the things I'll try to tell.
Wild. I mean, at first, there's a bond, but yeah. But it's just such a revelation to become aware of the sounds I've been missing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know
that
I was missing those sounds. So
and another big one is actually the birds, right? And so I think
I love birds.
You love birds.
I have like 4 bird feeders on our property. The first time, right, that I took one of our dogs for a walk, and it was like a miracle because I could hear them far up in the trees. I could hear them a little bit down the street. And just to hear the bird song.
It is beautiful.
Because
it goes back to the connection. That's connecting you back to nature again, right? And we all know how important nature is for our well-being and our spiritual souls or that type of thing. So it's beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for allowing me to help you on your better hearing.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah. And I look forward to an exciting year next year. We'll see where the Rotary Club goes and for our wine nights. So there we go.
I appreciate the hearing aids, but even more, I'm appreciating the friendship.
Yeah, me too.
That we're growing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pamela.